What is up, my fellow Chibits? Hopefully all of you are having a very good day today, no matter where you live, no matter what time it is. I wish you a very, very good day. So the fall of anime of 2017 has begun. It's well underway, and a lot of anime has come out today, and one of the first ones to come out today is Black Clover. This series is very notorious, and infamous in a way, because it has quite the reputation. I have even talked about this series a little bit in the past with separate little topic videos, and I've said my piece on Twitter, social media, and also YouTube and vlogs and Chibi questions and stuff before. I've said my pieces on this series, and even in my recent What I Will Watch for Fall of Anime 2017, I stated that I didn't really like the manga. But at the same time, I wanted to give it another shot. I wanted to try out the anime to see if it would, adapt the manga properly, but at the same time make me appreciate and enjoy this series more than I did when I read the, first part of Black Clover. So the first episode of Black Clover finally came out, and I got to check out the first episode. And I gotta say right now that overall, in terms of just art and animation, it's pretty good. I'm not even going to fault the way it looks. It looks like they captured the style of the manga and actually made it a little bit better. There was only one problem I had with the art and animation. That was the CGI chains throughout the episode, but it wasn't really anything major that I really disliked. So, overall, in terms of art and animation, I think it's A-okay. Story-wise, it's very cliche. It's very, 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 very cliche, which was one of my biggest problems with getting into Black Clover when I read the manga. I already knew kind of what it was about because, like I said, I tried to get into it, and I couldn't just because of how it felt like everything I've already read before. So I already knew what to expect coming into the first episode. It's just I want to see how it was delivered in anime form. So in terms of overall content, like what the first episode was about, you could probably see a lot of similarities here to typical shonen starts, or mainly Naruto. If you recognize Naruto in any way, most likely you do, because Naruto is just famous. It's one of the most popular series of all time. Most likely you're going to recognize that there is a lot of similarities with this first episode of Black Clover. Actually, when you look at it, you can say that this is like Naruto if it was focused on magic. That's exactly what this first episode is, because you have a character that's not good at anything, everybody's picking on him, bullying him, and then you have the rival type characters very similar to Sasuke, which he doesn't have the same personality as Sasuke, because he did admit to the main character that, he is his rival and all that. So there is obviously some form of bond there. But overall, though, in terms of like the start of it, it's very similar to Naruto. You have the rival character, or very typical of a shonen, actually. You have the rival character, you have the main male character, which is not really good at anything. Everybody bullies him, picks on him, and all that. He's like the outcast. He's not good at anything. But at the same time, he's someone that's very immature, bratty, and loud, which I'll get into the loud aspect in a minute, because I know many want to talk about that. But anyways, though, in terms of that, we also have it to where he's someone that has some form of mysterious locked-up power within him. And it's implied at the end of the first episode that he apparently has a demon within him, because he has the 5 clovers, or the Black Clover within him, or on his, grimoire. So, it's obvious that when you look at the episode, it takes a lot from the beginning of any shonen, or in this case, Naruto. It's very similar. So, if you're looking for something very unique, most likely you're not going to like this. I'm just going to be point blank with you. You're probably not going to like the first episode, and the only part you probably will like of the episode is probably the final 3 or 4 minutes of the episode, when you see, the main character Asta goes in, and he fights the main villain, or the main villain of this episode, and, he unlocks that grimoire, and, he's able to fight a little bit. That's when many might get interested and might want them to come back to watch episode 2 of the series. That was probably one of the best moments of the episode in terms of story-wise, because just the way it was presented. I gotta admit, the way that was presented, it was much better than the manga. I actually really like the way that was presented. Now, getting into the villain, or the characters, okay? I want to talk about all the other minor characters, and then I will get into the main character, because there's a lot to discuss when it comes to the main character. So, the villain of the episode. In terms of the villain is very stereotypical for a shonen. It follows that standard cliche of a shonen, and you have a villain that's basically one-dimensional, just evil, has an evil laugh and all that, just overall just very stereotypical. And before we go any further, I just want to clarify a couple things. Just because it's cliche does not necessarily mean that it's a bad series. I want to state that, okay? Even if I don't like it, or if I don't like something because it's cliche, does not mean it's a bad series. I just want to make sure I get that out there and I clarify for anyone that doesn't understand what I mean. I'm just saying, if you're wanting something original, then it's not original. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It just depends on execution, if it becomes really good. It's kind of like this, okay? You got the frame. You got the frame of a picture. And the frame may be like a standard, like, wood frame, but it depends on how you fill the picture up with how good the frame is. For instance, the frame could be the standard stuff that's like $2 and a budget deal or whatever, but then you fill it up with something quality, it could be something very good, even if it started off very cliche. And that's what I'm getting at. Just because it's cliche does not automatically mean that it's bad. However, if you're looking for something different, then obviously that's going to play a factor in you wanting to continue watching this. And you might even say it's not a good series just because of that. So anyways, getting back on topic though, the villain is very standard for a shonen start. Nothing really original in terms of character, just because he just acts the same. He doesn't really have a good motive or anything like that. He's just a standard thief that's stealing books and stuff, magical books, and then selling them to the black market. So it's nothing really, insanely crazy. And this is something you'd see not just from Naruto, but many, many characters from all sorts of other shonen stuff that gets released. It's typical. Now, getting into the rival character, Yuno, I think that's his name. Yuno, overall, looking at his character and judging by what type of series this is, I'm assuming the reason why he's so distant from the main male character is because there is some form of, drama that happened in the past, because it was implied in this episode that something happened a long time ago to where, Asta came back, he was bloody and all that, and then he stopped, really hanging out with him and then really being nice to him after that day. So most likely something happened in the past to where maybe Asta had, some form of magical breakdown and he was unaware since he has a demon inside of him. Maybe he blacked out, didn't remember anything, and maybe he hurt his friend. That could be a possibility. I believe something like that. So most likely the reason why the, support main character or whatever, Yuno, is keeping his distance in a way is because he knows how dangerous his friend can be, or he knows how powerful he is and how good he is, and that's why he's trying so hard to be near him or get stronger, and he actually believes he's unworthy. Maybe something like that. Because if you look at the episode, it doesn't look like he's really bullying his friend or bullying Asta at all. He's just carrying on to his own thing, and he's being a little bit distant, but it seems like he is being very indifferent to everything. So I believe something's going on there that probably happened in the past, and he's very aware of probably what Asta is capable of. It just, he doesn't say anything because there's probably some form of big reason behind it. So yeah, I just want to point out, in terms of character though, nothing crazy, nothing bad, nothing, good, it just neutral. Now, talking about Asta, let's talk about the MC, okay? So the MC of Black Clover, I didn't like him in the manga. When I read the start of the series, I didn't like him in the manga. I didn't like his character. He felt very bland to me. He felt very just boring. I don't know. Just something about his character, he felt very boring. It wasn't the design. The design, that's not the problem. It's just, I don't know, something about his character, he just felt very boring to me. He just didn't stand out. He didn't really have that type of personality that really hit me, like, Izuku from Boku no Hero Academia, or Gon from, Hunter x Hunter. Just, these type of series, he just didn't have a personality that really stood out to me, and I was like, this is a cool main character. Right at the start, in the episode, the character is obnoxious. Now, I already knew in the manga he was, but seeing it in anime form brings it to a whole new level of just like, oh no. So, one of the big things I've been hearing today about Black Clover, it's either many are saying it's cliche, they liked it, or the voice acting was terrible. It's one of those three. That's what it really boils down to when it comes to everybody's impressions of the first episode of the anime. And they're not talking about everybody's voice acting. They're just talking about the main character's voice acting. Apparently, the main character, Asta, he's being voiced by someone that's brand new to the industry. So, I don't know if this is true or not, so don't quote me on that one, but apparently the voice actor is brand new. It's his first time doing any type of voice acting, like being in an anime, and also this is his first time being in a lead role, so it's obvious you could see a little bit of, the, novice in the main, voice actor of the main character. It's very obvious. You could just see the way he's acting that he's not as good as some professionals we see from other series. That doesn't automatically mean it's a bad thing, because every voice actor has to begin somewhere. They have to begin somewhere to better themselves and become a better voice actor. That's just how it is. I mean, let's look at the voice actor of, Sword Art Online. Everybody thought he could only do one voice throughout so many series that he used to voice act the main lead role. Then we heard him do that crazy, insane voice acting from Beetlejuice in ReZero, and everybody was just shocked with how good he was at it. So it's obvious that he has a lot to learn. He has to learn a lot to be able to improve himself as a voice actor. And personally, I don't think that he's a bad voice actor. Like, I think he could possibly become a very good one. In due time, give him like a year or two, he'll be amazing probably. But giving him the lead role of a series that is kind of popular in a way, I felt was a bad move. I mean, I guess the best way to learn is through a big failure, but still, I mean, with how this series is, I just don't know if it was a smart move making him the voice actor because of how obnoxious he was. He was so loud, and the screaming was on a whole new level. So normally I can deal with characters being obnoxious or just, screaming a little bit, but the character of Asta, the voice actor, he yells. Like, every single line, he yells. It's like he's screaming. It was like the director told him to get into the voice booth and it's like, scream as loud as you can into the headphone or the microphone or whatever, and there you go. That's perfect. That's basically what it looked like to me when I was watching this episode. I'm like, I don't necessarily blame the voice actor because it's not entirely his fault. It's actually more on the fault of the director and all the people above the voice actor that approved of that voice, that approved of the way it sounded. That's what really got me, because, like, it's not necessarily the voice actor's fault entirely. Maybe he is responsible, but it's also the people above him that actually finished the project, and they had to, give the thumbs up. They're like, this is good. Like, they had to give the thumbs up to say that the voice acting was good. So, that's what blew my mind. Like, the way the voice acting was, it was horrible. It was bad throughout this episode. And I'm like, oh my, this is on a whole new level. It's really bad. And I could see many not wanting to watch the first episode of Black Clover just because of that voice acting. It's not even the fact that it's cliche and the story is not, anything original. It's the fact that the voice acting was so atrocious that many would just drop it in the first 2 to 3 minutes. Not because of the story, but because of the voice acting. And that's what's really just scary to me. So I feel like Black Clover is on some shaky ground right now. It's definitely on something that's of shaky ground. It has potential. I'm not going to say it's a bad series because I haven't caught up with it. So I'm not going to say it's bad. I won't. However, I personally did not like the first episode besides the final couple minutes. I will check out the next episode. I will see how it is. But I don't think it was that good. But like I said, we'll see where it goes. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please like the video. And if you want to support me so I can continue to focus on YouTube as my full-time focus, please go in the description and support me on Patreon. It does help me out a lot. No matter how much you support me with, it does help out a lot. And so with that being said, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.